Okay, today we're going to take a look at the child tax credit and credit for other dependents and what we need to do. These rules and this form applies to the year 2021. It is expected that in 2022 that the rules will go back and be more similar to 2020. So this may be a one-time only thing when these particular rules are being used. When you first have determined that you have a qualifying child and or qualifying relative dependents, you need to put them onto the front of the 1040. So here if we have John Doe and all his information, and maybe John is head of household. So John has a son, Johnny. Okay, and Johnny's social security number. Johnny is his son. His son lives with him. His son is 7 years old and lives with John at John's house. And the child tax credit or the credit for other dependents has to be determined whether it applies to each dependent and the correct box checked. So since Johnny is a qualifying child, passes all the tests to be a qualifying child, and he's under the age of 18. Now in 2020 and again in 2022, the age is typically under the age of 17. But for 2021, it's under the age of 18. Now, Johnny is 7, so he's definitely under either one. So he does qualify for the child tax credit, and we would check that box. And let us say that John also has his father, JJ, living with him, and or the father could even live separately, and John is supporting his father. So we'd have this social security number and his relationship. Now, JJ is not a qualifying child, but he can qualify as a qualifying relative. And because he passes the qualifying relative test, he is, John could get a credit for other dependents for him. Cannot get the child tax credit. Okay, so we can check that second box. At this point, we need to know John's AGI. So let's say he makes $30,000 in wages. And he has nothing else. So he has $30,000 in AGI. So the next step is to fill out the 8812 form. There are two places where the child tax credit or other credit for other dependents can go. So one is line 19. That's if you're using it as a non-refundable credit. In 2020 and in 2022, you first use up whatever of the credit you can use up as a non-refundable credit, and then you fill out the 8812 8812 to see if you can maybe get extra that would be refundable. In 2021, if John lives in the United States, which he does, then all of it is automatically goes to being refundable. And so that's going to be here on line 28. Either way, you have to fill out the schedule 8812. In the past, you only had to fill it out if you couldn't use all of the credit as a non-refundable and you wanted to see if you could get some extra refundable out of it. Then you filled out the 8812. But here, because John lives in the United States, all of it is going to be refundable. We just skip line 19. We go to line 28, but we have to fill out the 8812. So here is the 8812 form. And line 1 asks for the amount from line 11, which is the AGI, which was $30,000. Lines 2, A, B, and C are all things that are not going to be involved in our Accounting 124 class, so involve Puerto Rico and foreign income and various things. So you can just skip all of that. We can go to line 3, add 1 and 2, so that will also be $30,000. Line 4A, number of qualifying children under age 18 with the required Social Security number. So we know that Johnny, although I didn't type it in yet, Johnny has a good Social Security number. JJ has a good Social Security number, and John has a good Social Security number. Everybody's got to have a good Social Security number. Okay, and so yes, we have one qualifying child under the age of 18 with a Social Security number. 4B, number of children included on line 4A who were under the age of 6. Well, we didn't have any of those. Line 4C, subtract 4B from 4A. So 1 minus 0 is 1. Line 5, if line 4A is more than 0, which it is, enter the amount from line 5 worksheet, otherwise enter 0. So we're going to have to fill out this worksheet to see how much is going to go on line 5. Where do we get that worksheet? Well, we're going to have to get the worksheet from the 8812 instructions. So we're going to go in 8812, and we see here there's a schedule 8812, which was what we were working on, and here's the instructions for the 8812. Okay, and we're going to scroll down. And here we see on page 4 of the instruction sheet, the line 5 worksheet. Okay, now I cannot write, let me see, maybe I can. No, it's not letting me write onto this worksheet. So line 1, it says, multiply schedule 8812 line 4B by 3600. So on the 8812, line 4B was the children who were under the age of 6. So if we would have had any of those, there's a $3,600 child tax credit. But we don't have any of those. Okay, line 2, multiply schedule 8812 line 4C by 3,000. So on the 8812 line 4C, we have a 1. Okay, so line 2, we'd have $3,000 written in here. Line 3, add line 1 and 2, so line 3 would also be $3,000. Line 4, multiply schedule 8812, line 4A by $2,000. So line 4A is our 7-year-old. So 1 times $2,000 is $2,000 on line 4. Line 5, subtract line 4 from line 3. So 3,000 minus 2,000 is 1,000. Line 6, enter the amount shown below for your filing status. John is head of household, so $43.75. Line 7, enter the smaller of 5 or 6, so that's 1,000. Line 8, enter the amount for the filing status. Head of household is $112,500. Line 9, subtract 8 from schedule 8812, line 3. So that was our AGI, 30,000, okay? And so 30,000 minus 112,500 is going to be a negative number. It's going to be less than 0. So line 9 is 0. Line 10, multiply 9 by 5%, so 0 times 5% is 0. Line 11, enter the smaller of line 7, which was, let me see, that was 1,000, okay, or line 10, okay, and so 10 is 0, 11 is, or 7 was 1,000, it says enter the smaller, so that again would be 0. Line 12, subtract 11 from line 3. So line 3 is 3,000 minus 0 is 3,000. And we're going to enter this on the 8812 line 5. Basically what this does is it takes it through a series of things. The child tax credit has, there's certain limits to how much your AGI can be. So if you made over a certain threshold, then you can only get the old child tax credit, which is $2,000 instead of this year it's $3,000. And if you make even more than another amount, then you can't get it at all. Okay, so that's what that worksheet was doing. Now in this case, someone making $30,000 a year, that's way below any of those thresholds. And you can go ahead and assume they can get all the $3,000. You don't really need to fill out this worksheet as long as you know that they make less than the threshold. So the head of household, $112,500. Married filing joint, $150,000. All other filing statuses, single, etc., $75,000. So $30,000 is way less than any of those. So John's going to get the whole $3,000 for Johnny. So if you don't want to have to fill out that worksheet, you don't have to, as long as line 3 is less than those thresholds. Line 6, number of other dependents, including any qualifying children who are not under 18 or have, okay, so here's where the father is, JJ, so we have one of those, okay, multiply line 6 by 500, so we do that, add lines 5 and 7, so 3,000 plus 500 is 3,500. And we will finish the 8812 in